How the Arab-Israeli Wars changed the Middle East forever in 1967. A war that was expected to last months ended in just 6 days. In 1948, a brand new nation declared independence and was immediately invaded by 5 armies. In 1973, a surprise attack during a holy day pushed the world to the edge of nuclear confrontation. The Arab-Israeli Wars were not just regional conflicts. They reshaped borders. They triggered oil crises. They pulled in global superpowers, and their impact is still felt today. Part 11948. The war that created a nation. In May 1948, the State of Israel was declared. Within hours, armies from Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq invaded. This became known as the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, or in Israel, the War of Independence. For Palestinians, it is remembered as the Nakba, meaning catastrophe. At the time, Israel had fewer troops and limited heavy weapons. Arab leaders believed the new state would collapse quickly. It didn't. By the end of the war in 1949, Israel not only survived, it expanded beyond the original UN partition borders. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced. The map of the Middle East had changed and the conflict had only just begun. Part 2-1967. The 6 days that shocked the world. By 1967, tensions were rising again. Egypt closed the Straits of Tiran. Arab armies mobilized along Israel's borders. Then, on June 5, Israel launched a preemptive airstrike. In a matter of hours, much of Egypt's air force was destroyed on the ground. The war lasted just 6 days. It became known as the Six-Day War. When it ended, Israel had captured the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank from Jordan, East Jerusalem, the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights from Syria in less than a week. Israel tripled the territory under its control. It was one of the most dramatic military victories of the 20th century, but it also planted the seeds for future conflicts, especially over occupied territories. Part 31973. The war that shook the superpowers. On October 6, 1973, the holiest day in Judaism, Yom Kippur, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack. It marked the beginning of the Yom Kippur War. At first, Arab forces made significant gains. Egyptian troops crossed the Suez Canal. Syrian forces advanced into the Golan Heights. For a moment, Israel appeared vulnerable. The United States began massive resupply operations. The Soviet Union supported Arab states. The world held its breath. There were real fears of a direct US-Soviet confrontation. Eventually, Israel pushed back. But the war had global consequences. In response to Western support for Israel, Arab oil producers launched an oil embargo. Oil prices quadrupled. Fuel shortages hit Europe and the United States. The global economy entered crisis. A regional war had shaken the entire world. Part 4. The long shadow. After 1973, large-scale wars between Israel and Arab states became less frequent. Egypt eventually signed a peace treaty with Israel in 1979. Jordan followed in 1994. But the Israeli-Palestinian conflict continued. Intifadas, rocket exchanges, periodic escalations in Gaza, the borders drawn and redrawn between 1948 and 1973 still define political reality today. Jerusalem remains contested. The West Bank remains disputed. The Golan Heights remains internationally controversial. These wars were not isolated events. They shaped alliances. They influenced superpower strategy during the Cold War. They changed global energy markets. And they transformed the Middle East permanently. The Arab-Israeli wars were about territory, but they were also about identity, security, national survival. For some, they represent miraculous victories. For others, deep historical trauma. More than 70 years later, the echoes of those wars still resonate. History in this region is not just remembered, it is lived.